One stormy night, a king trembled in his chamber, haunted by visions of death. As a younger prince, he had witnessed his father at the height of his rule die in battle and feared the same end for himself. So the next morning, he summoned a powerful magician seeking to evade his visions. The magician, enshrouded in mystery, offered the king a talisman that wouldn't just save the king from death, but would give him control of reality itself. However, this came with a warning. There was one place he must never visit. With the talisman in hand, the king's fear transformed into immense confidence. He began with minor changes, satisfying personal desires, but swiftly moved to grander scales. He reshaped the kingdom effortlessly, ending wars with thoughts and extending his rule globally. And as the king reveled in his omnipotence, his ambition soared to the stars. He dreamed of an empire that spanned galaxies. However, the ease of the king's victories left him bored by their grandeur. He began to miss the challenge. He began to miss the unknown. As everything he could dream of was available to him instantly, his mind travelled to the one thing he was unable to do: go to that place forbidden from him. His curiosity about this place grew, but he distracted himself in attempts to ignore it. However, as time went on, he became accustomed to getting what he wanted and began to feel like a god. As his arrogance grew, he debated travelling to the forbidden place. What lies in that place? I'll summon the largest army in history to protect myself, he murmured. Finally, unable to resist his curiosity, the king and an army 1 million strong ventured towards the forbidden place, with a feeling of confidence overshadowing him as he looked back at his army. However, as he crossed the border, his army faded into nothingness, and there, in the looming quiet, stood death. "It's you. You're Death," he whispered instinctively. Death stood gazing back at him, with a knowing smile, and reached for his hand. The king, seeing no way out, reluctantly reached back, Death's smile growing as his hand got closer and closer. But as their fingers touched, Death disappeared, and the forbidden place transformed into his initial meeting with the magician. The king, confused, looked down at the talisman being offered to him once more, but confidently refused it, smiled, and walked away. Just like the king, we're all running away from something. Less pain, less fear, less stress. But we also want more. More money, more relationships, more power. We may never have the power of the king, but as we'll discover, this means we can face a much darker reality. When we do things that feel good, we want to do more of them. One of the key chemicals in our brains responsible for this is dopamine. Now, you might think that when we get what we want, our dopamine spikes, like this. However, scientists in the 1990s discovered that it usually looks more like this, meaning it rises in anticipation of getting what we want, but declines rapidly once we get it. So this means that the journey of getting to what we want is actually the most exciting part, not when we get there. But what about someone who's had massive success in the real world? Take Mike Tyson, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, who made about $430 million over his career, which is about $700 million in today's money. Surely at the height of his fame, he had it all.
I had the best 3 years of my life in prison.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting for you to say that, bro, because you had millions.
I had peace, though.
Over the $30 million for one fight? Jay-Z's lying.
Hey, listen, can I tell you something? That don't mean nothing when you don't have your peace, your stability, and your balance. You don't give a fuck. You don't even want it. You want to give it to somebody else. You need your sanity to dictate any part of life. Because, you know, God, I always tell people, God punishes you by giving you everything you want. See if you can handle it.
So the first thing we can say for sure is that getting everything we want isn't going to solve everything. But I hear what you're thinking. Does that mean I'm supposed to just abandon everything, live like a monk, never do anything, and never achieve anything? Well, to put it into context, 100-meter sprinters spend years to take 0.1 seconds off a race that lasts under 10. Surgeons take over a decade before performing one operation. Actually achieving something takes up a tiny percentage of our lives, and as we've established, our excitement drops quickly when we do. But the path to get there takes up almost all of it. So if we choose something we hate because we think it will give us an outcome that will make us feel better, then we're just doing something we hate so we can keep living, which is spent mostly doing what we hate. Now, of course, we can't expect to love everything all the time. We still have responsibilities and things that we just won't like. However, we all want something. So the question is, are we using the time that we do have available to the best of our ability? In 2005, Steve Jobs spoke about how he deals with this in a very unique way.
Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart.
However, just like the king trembling in his bed, our fear of the unknown can prevent us from doing this. It can cause us to be so scared we never try, or come up with a million reasons why our plan would never work, often making us pick the safe option. But if everything is unknown, then how safe really is the safe option?
My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
But the biggest misconception about picking something you love is that it just isn't realistic. It's that it doesn't work in the real world, or you can't make money from it, so why bother doing it at all? But picking something you like isn't just about making you happier. It's about giving you the best chance of getting so good at something that you are able to get rewarded relative to that. Whether it's more money, more relationships, be a pro football player, be a professional chef, whatever it is, picking things you like makes getting good much easier. And in order to get the result you want, you need to be good enough to deserve that result. So I ask you this, what are some of the things you enjoy spending your time doing? And what is it that you truly want?
What do I desire? Well, when we answer that question in a naive way, we figure out that we want a desire, what we want is to control everything. To create girls that don't grow old, apples that don't rot, clothes that never wear out, conveyances that get from one place to another instantly so we don't have to wait, power available to do anything that you could conceive and do it just instantly like that, to get this funny technological omnipotence. But if you take time out to think about that and really go into it with your full strength of imagination and find out whether that's where you want to be, you will soon see that's not what you want. Because the moment you have a situation where you are really in control of things, that is to say, in which the future is almost completely predictable, you will see, as I said last night, that a completely predictable future is already the past. You've had it. That's not what you want. You want a surprise. You don't know what that's going to be, because obviously it wouldn't be a surprise in the future.